Hello.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. You have found your way to the Sacred Wisdom Circle, where we are here to remember what the world has asked us to forget, that you are not lost, you are not broken, you are the light. And so we invite you into our conversation for today, where we do remember the power that we hold within us to create our own world, our own life, and be the artist of your life. And take back some of that control.
Yeah,
And
100%.
control is such a negative word, but that's what it is. It's like we give our power away too easily, right?
Constantly. This universe, this days, like society in general is
Mhm.
we've never been taught to have ownership of it. But
Right?
we've been taught to own things, but we own things and not ownership of how we steward our life, I think is the best way to put it.
That's a good way of saying it. Steward your life. I like that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's a double-edged sword, because as we recognize that we are the stewards of our life, we also have to take that responsibility for everything too, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
some people are not there yet.
Yeah.
More
So
and more are
interesting.
coming in, though.
Of course. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
been an interesting we were just chatting. It's been an interesting day. I woke up and I like felt like I was in this I don't know. It almost felt like things have shifted like a quarter of an inch all day. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Oh.
everything just kind of like it didn't seem right, or it was just everything was a little off, was what I'm trying to say. Like, I even went to go make my coffee this morning, and I'm kind of a coffee snob, and I make a latte because I put a espresso machine and blah blah blah. Anyway, and I went to go like foam the milk, and the milk didn't foam properly. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Uh-huh.
And then I like spilt my coffee after that. I'm like, okay, listen.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I'll share some stuff that I have found, and this has been a really big week for me too. And just going super deep into my heart. And you know how when you're I my first chapter in my book that I'm writing right now is about the heart coherence codes, like when your heart breaks open, when you suddenly are deep in the depths of feeling. And we can go months and months and years without that, and then something happens that takes you there. And for a lot of people, it's a death or a health scare, or a marriage breakup or something like that. And what happened this week was I was there, and, but what I felt was, I wanna stay here. Like,
Mm,
there's a lot of emotions here, but wow, I'm feeling deep, deep, deep. And even last night, in my dreams, I had a dream where someone said to me, "We're going deeper." And I'm like,
interesting.
that's interesting." So I was listening to Nancy Rebecca, and she's online medium. She's been teaching mediumship for 30 years. She had her own awakening 30 years ago. She had some very interesting stories around that. But she channels what's called the blue light means, and she's been channeling them for years, and she's been getting messages about these downloads of energy that's coming through. So we're going really deep into woo here, you guys. So I hope you like
Hmm.
it. Um, but um that's been happening at different points in the world at different times, basically since 2017. I think there was e quite a few things happening even through last year, but she thought that when she first channeled this information, that it was preparing us for 2019 and 2020. What she's realizing now is like, no, it wasn't. It actually, all of that has been preparing us for this time right now. And June 12th to summer solstice is the ignition point, is what she's getting. This is the ignition.
Oh.
So we've been releasing and preparing up until today is June 12th for us. Even if you're watching this recording later, this is June 12th. And big energies coming in that is helping humanity raise their consciousness, move from whatever into the heart, right? And
Yeah.
that's I'm like, "Oh." So there are big energetic shifts happening, and I think too, what I feel, what I pick up on, and which makes sense to me, is that as each of us has our own internal shift, and we can't see it because it is internal, so you can't really look around and go, "Well, where's the change?" It's like it's happening internally to every individual on the earth, and as that happens, of course, that ripples out into the field, and we're all part of the field, and we're all going even more expansive, more deep with all of us, and people are having various experiences, but you've got to admit that since 2019, everyone has been shifting in the world. Everyone has been navigating fears and releasing fears and looking inside and going, there's got to be more to life than this. And so the 12th to the 19th, till summer solstice, she's saying is the um, ignition. And then summer solstice, what did she say, is the, um, oh, shoot. Now I lost the word that she used. Uh, Ignition. Oh, I almost wanna run and get it because I wrote it down, but summer solstice is the, like, "Let move forward, let we're going," and then
Yeah.
everything after that is transformation. So, we're in a really big window right now of energy shifting, so, yeah, tell
So
me what you're
interesting.
feeling.
Well, and it's funny that you say that. I was not aware of that conversation, but I was having a conversation with a colleague this morning and we pulled a card. And I wonder if I have the card right on the top. It was the actually number one, which is like beginning of the year, right? Like our one
Right?
starting whatever
Yeah.
card, which was called the Ancient Ones. It's the deck we pulled from was the like shaman oracle deck.
Oh, yeah, I have that one. Yeah. Okay.
And so it was card number one. It was ancient. Where can we put
Mm,
this so
got it.
people can see it?
Yeah.
The ancient ones. And what it said in here, which I mean, all of the beautiful things, but it's not so much about the ancient ones. There was something in here that we're both like, I mentioned it. I was like, this is what stood out to me. Oh, if I could get to the card here. One second. Here she go. Here it is. It's like, um, oh, yeah. So find out who you're becoming 10,000 years from now. And I'm like,
Mm.
10,000 years from now? That's like, who are you becoming? Like, again, getting into the deep woo of like past life regressions and how long our soul continues to stay and reiterate into different versions of ourselves. And anyway, it was just interesting that it's like, that's an interesting question as opposed to being like a 10,000 years, as opposed to being like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where do you want to, who are you going to become? And she said one of the comments made was that she'd also heard similarly that we are here, like our generation potentially may not be here for like we're still extending our years. We'll probably live longer than, the average 85 at this moment or something like that. But the next generation and the next generation, like there's going to be medical things that have progressed that it's, life expectancy is going to drastically shift to a longer period of time.
Yes. And
So
anti-aging too, right?
yeah, and so and all of these different things, and it was like, "Oh, I hadn't heard that either." So it's just interesting to hear, this time and this ignition, and it's like, honestly, I believe it because even we feel a shift here now energetically and in the consciousness in this moment where things are opening up and things are becoming more, like, I wanna say spiritually progressive, an expansion of this consciousness even as we are, and it's funny that we are no longer we're starting to no longer accept the traditional and even in our generation of what has been, needs to be. And when you look at like even our children, it's like you see that clearly they're like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do things that way. I don't need to like, and they pause and look at you like, why does it always need to be that way? We just always accepted it, where they're not even in the recognition of it.
Yeah,
What I find so interesting, whether it's like traditional beliefs or just how things we're like, this is always how it's been done. And they're like, but why? Like, you know what I mean? They
right?
question it. It's so interesting. So it's not surprising that as this generation continues, that there's gonna be shifts, there's gonna be things. And this is again part of that ignition piece, I feel that you're now that you're sharing
Right?
this.
Oh my gosh, it is fascinating to have conversations with the younger people and to just, the knowledge, the acceptance of it all where it took me years to understand. And I was thinking too this morning, I was like, reflecting back to how much for years and years in my soul journey, I was trying to get out of my body into my soul, let it go fly with my soul, right?
Mhm.
And it's now that I realize that, no, it's in my body that is where the shift comes, right? So come
Yeah.
back into the body, ground in, and move and shift from there. But I also wanna come back to that, who are you going to be in 10,000 years? That is a really great question because we are so stuck in an idea of this is it. This is all we get is this little frame of this little block of time in this lifetime. But if we think of ourselves on a soul journey right now, this is a blip in the bigger journey. So, oh my gosh, where is my soul going to go next? Maybe my soul has a desire in place that I'm going to come to earth and have this journey so that I can get to this next place, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who knows? And wow, that's fascinating. I love that
Yeah.
thought.
It was
I
such
love
an
that.
interesting thought this morning. And again, in this like expansive thought of, yes, we're only here. And like you said, we totally believe that we're only here for a short period of time. And like, may as well. And we get so concerned with the, am I doing it right? Am I doing it
Oh,
wrong?
right?
And it's like, no, we're just here. I was having a conversation with a client not that long ago and I expressed to her, it's like, we come here and we are come here to live life and experience the entire range of feelings. It's like we think consciously as a human, we think that we're supposed to be positive and in a good feeling all the time and be happy and blah, blah, blah. But we come here as this human experience to experience all the feelings
Yeah.
and like the entire spectrum, even the bad ones. We're
Yeah.
here to feel them and have experiences that help us feel them. And it's, I love what you were just sharing earlier about, right now it's like bringing me to the heart space and feeling these moments because that's what we're really supposed to understand
Yeah.
better is that and it was really interesting. I was reading, I'm currently reading with a friend of mine, The Mountain Is You by Brianna Waste.
Okay.
And one of the things she talked about that it was interesting that she mentioned it because we talk about trauma and we hold trauma in the body.
Mhm.
And one of the things she mentioned in here is that as she walked through it, is she mentions trauma but she doesn't say it as an most of us experience or think of trauma as an interpersonal experience. So it had somebody else did something to or with me, and now I'm traumatized by that experience. But mostly trauma and what she doesn't even say that. She said that's what we think it is, but trauma really is um something that the perception how the body and exactly what you said, like the body received this experience and the emotion was too much for us to process at the time. So it becomes stuck. It
Mhm.
becomes like, and again, this is where you get into energy work and stuff like that, where it stays in the body because we didn't process it. We didn't have the capacity or the ability at the time to process it. So that's why most of the time, a lot of our trauma that we feel is from our childhood because it was before we were fully developed and we didn't know how to process those things. And as we grow up, now we're like, oh, well, and this stuff is showing up right now. Well, yeah, because now you're ready to process it. We have the capability capacity and information enough in our brain and understanding and experience to be able to process it. And what I loved about that, and sorry, I'll stop talking here.
No, you keep going. Keep going.
Was around the fact that again, it talks about the different experience around trauma and that it's not something that somebody's done to you or with you. And yes, that definitely happens, but the trauma is actually more around what the body's experienced and the emotion that it's currently carrying. I highlighted it. Um, and she says, "You will physically feel it in your body. You will feel anxiety, tension, fear, terror, sadness, and guilt. It will be displaced. It will not have a clear or direct cause. Like you can't, like you didn't physically, like, yes, trauma, some traumas can be physically experienced, but the trauma that you're holding on to is the physical body of the feeling of what that physical experience caused. So it's may not have a direct cause, but it will overreact to certain things. And even when the problem is solved, so even when you're out of the circumstances that caused it, or even when you're older and things have changed, you'll still have that feeling. And this is the mark of trauma, is what she says. And I was like, that is so mind blowing because most of us consider trauma to be this like personal experience.
Mhm.
And I kind of went off on a tangent there. I can't remember what my point was now. You can bring it
Well,
back. But
I got caught up in it too. I was like, "Oh, that's fascinating," because to me that, that's something I've been working on
mm,
with my groups is releasing the fear frequencies that we've held in our body. So we don't necessarily need to go back to the event, but we are holding on to the fears. We're holding that
yeah.
in our body, and that is the evidence of that is the anxiety, living from that identity of fear or whatever protector. What I know what I was gonna say was, so in my chapter 1, when I talk about the heart awakening codes, which is opening into the heart, I kinda talk about big events that have happened that through my life that
Hmm.
had me kind of learn and grow. There was gold in all of them, and I learned and grew, but the fears stayed there.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
when I thought I was overcoming and moving forward, I wasn't fully overcoming. It looked like I was to the outside world, but internally, I was shutting down the part of me that was the creative, the one that wanted to do something more and
Yes.
bigger. And it was when my dog got hit by a truck and died in my arms that really cracked me open, because at that point I had enough knowledge to know that if I hold these, if I stuff down the emotions and go, I'm okay, I'm okay, that's not healthy. So I allowed those emotions to flow through me. Oh my gosh, I cried and cried and cried to the point that I couldn't stop crying all weekend. It actually had gotten way out of control. But I was just letting all that pain move through
Yeah.
me. And as that did, my heart opened. And that was the beginning. Then I channeled in really powerful messages around how we close our heart off and how to open it again. And um and that is exactly like those traumas, those experiences, those words we heard, all they do is build that wall up a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. We don't even realize. We think,
Exactly.
"No, I'm
Yeah.
compassionate, I can feel, I have emotions," but honestly, it's like, "Oh, there's all this layering in between your heart and your consciousness." And so now, as we are as a whole in humanity, coming back to what you said about,
Mhm.
getting to the consciousness level where we can handle releasing it.
Yeah.
Makes
And
perfect sense to me
yeah.
because we're not so entangled in it anymore. We're now able to look at it and go, okay, that happened. And everybody has a story. So
Mhm.
mine's not special, right? And I need to just move
Unique,
through
but
this.
yeah, yeah, we all have an experience, it's which is unique to us, right?
Right? Yes, unique to us, exactly. And no one's is better or worse or bigger. There's different experiences. And so I love how she says that we get to a point where your consciousness can actually release this. That I think is brilliant for
Mhm.
what we are experiencing as a whole right now.
Yeah, and even going back to, like, the start of that, I brought it back up to, I worked my way back there, but it was like that we're here to experience all of the feelings. And I
Yeah.
tend to think, like, when we get down in those ones where it's like, we can get stuck there in different vibrations or, like you said, suppress them. But it's really interesting because one of the things I've done this last week or so, because I wasn't on last week. So over the last 2 weeks, I opened up a space.
Mhm.
It's not a program, it's not a course, it's an environment, and it's specifically for women. It's called Fully Expressed. And it's for women who are here to bring something more into this world. But the biggest thing is like I see women and people in general. It doesn't need to be women. Like for the space, it's women specifically. But um, in general, again, we've never been taught to truly understand our emotions or feel our emotions or what they're even really there for. So as we move through this, like you said, it's like we suppress them, we hold on to them. And some of the stuff that we're holding on to isn't even ours. It's like generational, ancestral. Again, I love this ancestor card, the ancient ones, because it's
Yeah.
like we carry all these things. I mean, when we look at women, and again, in that same topic of, 60, it's only been 60 years since we were able to vote, hold money, property, like all of these different things. So there's so much that happens unconsciously that we're not even aware of. So when we go to even a process an emotion or express ourselves fully, we can't, and we don't even realize that we're even doing it. Like you said earlier, it's like sometimes we just kind of suppress and build this wall without even noticing because it happens incrementally over time. But it's like it's become us. So we no longer can know the difference between who we were before or who we could have been before that experience or and after because it's become part of us and as much as we're like, well, I don't feel like I'm limiting myself. I don't feel like I'm filtering myself. I
Right.
don't feel like I'm not fully expressing, but there's still societal beliefs that make us hold back. There's
Yeah.
still things that are happening in life or like even when we look at interacting with different people, there's different people that we interact with differently than some people. So it's like
Exactly.
we 100% filter ourselves in so many different ways unconsciously
Oh,
because it's like how many times have you picked up the phone and answered differently than you would if you knew who was on the other end of the line? It's a best friend. Where you'd be like, "Hey,
yeah.
what's up?" Or it's like you answer the phone, you're, "Hello," like you answer the proper voice. Like there's so many of these variants of ourselves.
Yes, there is. Oh my gosh, we're so in sync here. And that feeling the full spectrum of life is kind of that the final thing I talk about in my first chapter is like that's
Oh,
what
I
we
love
came to
this.
do. And
Yeah.
and it was after my dog got hit because I watched her. She was part husky, part shepherd, part lab, I don't know, but she had the quirkiest personality, and she would run down the tree line because we lived in the country on an acreage, and she would just full out run in seconds. She could get to the deer at the other end of the field, right? And, um and then she would come racing back and, like, smiling, like, you could just
Mhm,
feel her energy, like, "That felt so good." And so after she died, and she was only a year old when she died, so it was really heart-wrenching, and after I thought, She just lived full out. We gave
yeah,
her a full life in that 1 year." So, being on that acreage, that was perfect for her soul. And then I started to reflect on, like, am I doing that? Am I living full out?
yes,
And that's
yeah,
when I started to really feel internally in my body, I felt where I had been shutting down. I had been limiting myself because of those past experiences that I had, my bankruptcy and everything. I was playing safe. I was playing safe.
100%.
And when you play safe, you don't get the full spectrum. In fact, you'll still get all the pain, but you won't get the full spectrum of the joy and the
Yes.
excitement and the adventure. So you're holding back. And so that whole chapter culminates with living the full spectrum of life. So I love that you said that. But there was something else you said and now I lost it. I was
Well,
gonna
that's okay, it'll
respond
either come
to and
back or it won't.
I'm like, oh, it's yeah, we gotta bravely open and be vulnerable to the experiences of life and not look back and go, "Well, that didn't work. I'm not doing that again."
Mhm.
Depending on what it is, I guess, right? But
Yeah.
for me, it was business, and I knew I had the heart of an entrepreneur. I knew I had gifts to bring through, but I held back and held back and held back because of the bankruptcy. And years,
Yep.
years. And so years of my life went by where I could have been living in that full spectrum of it. But it's all divine, it's all perfect. But it's a recognition of where you are limiting yourself. And as I said, this week was again a deep dive into the heart. And it's like, oh, wow. Like it's so illuminating when you
Yeah.
spend time deeply in your heart.
Hmm.
Not easy to get to
No.
on your own in
Yeah.
day to day, right?
Yeah. Well, we get caught up in the things of life, the doing, the whatever. It was funny. I was actually, I was having this conversation because part of this space within Fully Express too is that we're looking at. I don't talk about, and that's why I thought it was really interesting when it said 1,000 years from now, who are you being? And it's like, who are you being even? Because even sometimes we ask about a future, we're like reference to what we're going to do in the future and who are you going to be in 10 years or 5 years from now. And most
Mhm.
of us picture immediately what we're doing,
Mhm.
like in a job, in a role, and like, what are we doing? And it's like, no, the question was, who are you being?
Yeah.
And I feel like we get too caught up in the, again, society, same thing. Like we've been taught to do more, work hard, do. It's all about the doing. And it's like, but have we ever like really asked? And when we ask it in a different way, when we talk about who are we being, and we actually focus in on that because I had a conversation with somebody and she said the same thing. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. And like, I'd like to do something different, but I don't know what I'll be like, I can't even tell you what I want to do. And I'm like, I'm not asking you to tell me what you want to do. I'm asking you to, who do you want to be? Like, what do you want? What do you see yourself being? And
Yes.
it's like, well, she's trying to find the answer of the doing. And I'm like, no, 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 no. It's like the being. Who is she?
Yeah.
Right. And then when you think about going back to that question of 10,000 years, who are you being? And not assume that you're thinking doing. And even in
Yes.
10,000 years, because 10,000 years, gosh only knows what we'll be doing in a different dynamic. So much of this world has changed and over the years, whereas like, not even 10,000 years ago, where were we? You know what I mean?
Right? I know.
So
And I think that the key to that transformation of shifting into who you desire to be begins with recognizing where you are now, right? And I know you're doing this too with your groups. We're both doing identity work right now.
mhm.
And so we've spent, last week was an entire week of going deep into recognizing the different identities that we're living from because that creates a frequency in your life.
Yeah.
Who you are right now and where you are creating from. So as I talked about, I recognized when my dog Honey Bear died, it was like, oh, I have been living from this fear, the one who hides, right? The identity who wants to come out, but I'm afraid to because I'm afraid
Yeah.
of more visibility. I'm afraid of what people will say. I'm afraid of failure again and disappointing the people I love, right? And so I was living from that frequency, which is limits, of course, what comes in
Yep.
for you. It limits opportunities. It wastes your time. It costs you. One of the things that we talked about was the cost of living in that identity. Once we
Yes.
identified, oh yeah, okay, so I am the vigilant protector. I'm the one that okay, I'm going to watch the horizon while you guys live life because I know that there's danger out there. So I'm going to be the one who's constantly on guard to protect you because mm, I'm the mom and that's what moms do,
Yep.
right? Constantly, you're always trying to be a few steps ahead of whatever could happen. And so when we're in that identity, it's like, well, what is that costing you?
Yep.
Time, energy, your life force. Right?
Mhm.
Your life is slipping away.
Yeah.
We're limited in the time that we have here. We're
Yeah.
limited in the energy that we can actually give with
Yeah.
until we release all these weights and yeah. So
Transition.
so
Yeah.
not only like recognizing where you are now, but What's that costing you in your life?
Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
we've had a very similar conversation. I had an event a few weeks ago, and we had that conversation, and I have a similar one, and another event coming up, June 18th and 19th, the fully expressed experience where people get to kind of experience more of what this is. And, but that's literally it. It's like we, we go through the day to day. Again, society captures us in this idea of like, and cell phones and social media and stuff like that. We tend to lose way more than we realize. And
Mm,
not that it's lost, it's just like, what do you wanna choose to do with the time that we do have in this physical interim of us, um, that we get to choose, or we get to, again, going back to the stewarding idea, we get to be the steward of that time.
mhm.
And it's funny, I don't know how many times I've captured myself scrolling through Facebook, and I'm, like, looking at this video, and I'm like, "What am I even watching right now? Like, what value is this adding
Right?
to society, let alone to me in this moment?" And so I'm like, that's when I go, nope, enough, I'm done. Like, when I realize I'm not even viewing something that's even has any concept of context of value. And because some of it's, everybody puts out stuff and not all of it's great. Uh,
It can be entertaining at times.
it's definitely entertaining, but some of, anyway,
Yeah.
um, it's just questionable of like, okay, is this the best use of my time is my question.
Right? Yeah, yeah,
So it's like, okay, now time to put that down, but we don't even we get so lost in it sometimes, and even the day-to-day stuff, we get so lost in it sometimes that we lose track of being present in the moment. We lose track of the value of time
yeah.
and the time that we do have. Like, I was literally yesterday, I was out on the, it was a beautiful morning here yesterday, and I just finished a few things, and I literally was out in my yard, and a friend of mine, colleague, called me, and I was out in the yard, and I was checking my lilac bushes, and I was showing her my flowers and smelling the flowers, and I hung up with her, and I literally went on my deck. I'm sure my neighbors think I'm crazy some days because I'm like either laying in my yard just randomly on a different in the middle of the day, randomly, that I just like laid. I have lawn furniture, and I just laid on the deck in the sun and just laid there for a few minutes. It just closed my eyes and let the sun just pour over me and receive that energy. And it was just a
Oh,
beautiful moment. But how often do we give ourselves those moments? Or or we think it's like we need to go do something to receive those moments. Like, I need to go to the beach, I need to go to the woods, I need to go, and because that's not convenient, "Oh, well, someday I'll get to do the thing."
oh, yes. I had that conversation yesterday with a beautiful lady where she's been the caregiver of the family. She's a wife of a farmer.
Mhm, yeah,
Always busy, always the one on call, always the one fixing, taking care of, arranging, managing, and, that beautiful recognition of eh, because she's like, "There's never enough time. There's never enough time. I never have any time for myself." And I said, "If I magically gave you 5 hours today, would you relax?" "Mm, probably not." I said, "So this is not about time. This is
yeah,
about permission to give yourself time and space to do what your heart is calling you to do."
yeah,
And this is even, uh, more than permission, it's a worthiness. So
yeah,
we kept going deeper, right? It's like, "Oh, it's about time." Well, no, it's about giving yourself permission. Oh, no, it's about worthiness. So the deepest layer is about feeling worthy enough that those desires on your heart she wants to write that calling in your heart, that's sacred. That's
mhm,
sacred information coming through your heart. And right now you're not seeing it as the beautiful gold that it is for the world. And we had a
yeah,
really beautiful conversation around that, like, the great writers of self-awareness, that generation is dying. Like Wayne Dyer is gone, Louise Hay is gone. Like these writers are leaving us the legacy to carry on.
yeah,
And we need to do it in our voice because that's what's going to resonate with the young ones coming up, right?
yeah,
So this is the gold that you need to honor in order to feel worthy enough to take the time to sit down to tell the people in the family that calls that are coming in to say, "You know what? I'm busy right now."
yeah. Oh my
But
gosh, I've had that conversation too lately, and
right?
Yeah.
We all have to feel that. We are all doing that in some way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
giving all our energy and our life away to trivial little things. Sometimes we're needed. It's big things, and
Yes.
it's like so grateful that I can be there for them.
Mhm.
Yes, it's taking me away from my soul's calling, but that's okay because we're family. That's what we do.
Exactly.
But too often than not, it's little things that we
Yeah.
need to let.
Inconsequential.
Yes. Yes.
And I think the key thing that you mentioned there too is like the worthiness, because
Mhm,
majority of humans don't feel worthy of, like, like of much, like it's of enough, and not even that. It's like, I also am just finished reading or in the process of finishing reading You Too Can Be Prosperous. And
mhm,
it talks about scripture and it talks about God, but you can put words, source, universe, creator, whatever you want on there, whatever word feels comfortable for you. But everything we read, it talks because it uses scripture and it talks about the Bible, and it's like it talks about, that God gave us the sheep on the hill,
mm,
and the sheep aren't ours. Again, we tend to own things, but we as humans, but we don't take ownership or stewardship of what we do have access to. And
right.
so the sheep aren't somebody's in particulars. We as humans have put ownership over them, but everything we need is already here.
Mhm,
And we've never accepted the stewardship as well as the worthiness to be able to say, I'm allowed to have these things. Like it's a bit of permission, but it's like you said, it's underneath that, it's the worthiness of I can ask for what I truly want, or I can go after what I truly desire because we've always been told to be humble, and that's
yeah,
selfish and XYZ other idea and belief. And taking time, even like you mentioned about the woman you were talking about earlier, is like, that's wrong. We can't take time for ourselves.
right.
But it's
No,
such a stigma around humans, and even, most people believe they aren't worthy of that time because
yeah,
again, we've been conditioned to believe that we are.
and
Religion
it's
that
about
we are.
sorry, yeah,
No, no.
exactly. It's about stepping into self-honoring your journey, and, it just came through, I'm like, "Okay, I'm writing again, I'm gonna write being the steward of your soul's journey, that's what you are right now, and are you honoring that? Or
I
are
love
you
that.
honoring and distracted by everything else around you?" And I love that. Okay, that's next
Yep.
chapter coming through.
There you go.
But yeah, it's very much that honoring that journey because we're gonna get to the end of our life and it's going to be just you and you looking back and going, "Okay, yes, I was a good mother. Yeah, good. I took care of everybody. Well, good for you, right?
Mhm.
Because we've learned that through, people kind of well, look at Mother Teresa. I need to be more like her. I need to be more caring and empathetic and be there, helping the world. It's like that was her calling. That might
Exactly.
not be your calling. And
Mhm.
so you trying to be that way is dishonoring your journey.
Yeah.
And that is huge because we think there's so much that, the world goes, "Oh, she was so great. She was so great." And she was. Beautiful
Mhm.
soul. And so we're seeking that recognition externally
For
instead
what?
of
Yeah.
following your heart journey. So it doesn't matter how much good you do, you're
Mhm.
still not honoring your own soul's journey.
Yeah,
Like
I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
Um, and like the saying of, and I can't remember who said it specifically, but I've heard it multiple times of the graveyard is full of 1,000 treasures. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's the idea about
I've
the
never heard that
ideas that people
before.
leave this world with. What? Sorry?
I've never heard that before.
Or something like that. Maybe that's
I
not quite
love
it,
that, the
but it's
graveyard of
like, it's
yeah.
literally people passing with these heart's desires and callings within them without actually expressing them or finding them or even discovering them, knowing that there was something else they were supposed to do and not having the courage, the worthiness, the ability to say, you know what, I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to step into that. Um, and because we feel like we need to do in the expectations societally that we need to show up in a different way, in a different how, It
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I've never heard that before. Where's that come from?
I have no idea.
I'm
Somebody else said
gonna
it
have
to
to
me,
Google that
but
because
I've
I'm
heard it
like,
before.
I
Maybe it
wrote
came
it.
through, I don't know.
Yeah, I just wrote it down. The graveyard is full of 1,000 treasures.
Somebody else said
Said
that to me recently,
said
but I'm sure I've heard
Alana.
it before. Yeah, said Atlanta. I won't claim it, but,
Well, I heard it through you. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. That just says it all in one little sentence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you get the whole picture.
Mhm. But it's true. It's like people that don't take ownership and in my opinion, and again, this is why I've opened up the space for fully expressed. I'm like, I am tired. Tired of seeing people, like you said, not waste their life. But take the time that they could be doing something like you I love what you said earlier about the goal that they are here to bring for this world.
Mhm.
And this is I'm so whatever that needs to be, whether it's working with you or it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but find the way in the space that gives you the opportunity to open yourself up to give those gifts. Because right now, more than ever, the world needs these gifts.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And it's not for us to judge if another person is living their soul life or not because,
No, no.
they all come through in different ways. But when you're talking with someone and they're sad and their
Yeah.
heart is aching, they feel that that drive within them, but they're not answering it. That's an indication that
Hmm.
there's more here.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I often hear from especially writers. It's kind of like and probably musicians, creatives, like, it's
Yep.
probably for everyone, but it's just I have this drive in me. I don't know what it is, but I can't stop. And I'm like, I get it because I have that too. It's like I have to follow this path. No matter what I would do, I would be pulled back onto it,
Yep.
and I cannot let it go. And it's not an easy journey. And a lot of times
No.
it is just a work of the heart. There isn't a lot of reward for it. There isn't a lot of, recognition. In fact, there's more criticism sometimes than recognition. But
Yeah.
it's like I cannot stop. And that is the pull of the soul, of the heart. That
Yeah.
is exactly what it is. So, mm,
Yeah. And I love this 'cause it's like the pull of the soul and the expression of it. Like I said, with the fully expressed, it's like I've been saying it lately, it's like the liberation of the soul's desire. And I'm just like, ooh, I love that. That came through one day. And I'm just like,
uh,
we need more. We need more of that. So again, whatever space, if anybody's listening and they feel so called, connect with what you're doing. Like I feel like we need more of that and not out of lack and limitation, but out of expression, expansion of we collectively have the opportunity to connect in a different way. Like again, going back to the very beginning of this conversation, full circle of like the collective consciousness is shifting. There's ignition that's happening between now and whatever. And again, it's like we could sit here and we could just watch it pass by, or we can realize when we already know, because
yeah,
everyone already knows there's something within you that's more. We already know, and it's accepting the responsibility of that, not from the heaviness, but of like, you know what? I'm here to do it and I'm going to take that on. I'm going to do it because it's within me. And each one of you that are listening has your own unique path, and nobody else can do what you're here to do. Like literally billions of people in the world, you are the one.
yeah.
You are the only one that can bring through what you're meant to bring through. Nobody else can.
Exactly. And on that, you don't have to do it alone.
No.
You were never meant to be the lone wolf, during
Never.
that time period is over because those people blazed trails for us, but now it's about creating the support around you, and I know we keep saying this over and over but it is so important to
Yeah.
put yourself in a circle, to put yourself in a group of women who are also thinking this way, a coach, a mentor, someone who can help you stay on that path because it isn't always easy, but it's so worth it. It's
Mhm.
so worth it. And, it's stepping into a lot of people go, "Well, I don't know. I don't know how to do that, and I'm kinda scared." It's like, yes, and you are also courageous and brave, and you are the woman becoming more confident, the woman who is solid in her center and her voice is she's not afraid of her voice, right? Like all of these things we're going to keep reminding you of
Yeah,
as you keep moving forward step by step by step.
I love that.
And we get there when we link arms.
Yeah. So if somebody was interested in what you're doing, tell us more.
Well, we are opening up the portal. So applications for the Soulfully Aligned portal are out there right now. And in the portal, we are a group of women who are doing exactly this. We are linking arms, we are stepping up, we are remembering who we are, what we have to bring, and, encouraging and supporting each other every step of the way. And I have so much to offer in that, as well as you get all of my programs. It's like abundance. You get them all. They're all there. And so there's many other little things I'm doing, little programs, but that's the big one right now. The mastermind, the portal mastermind is open, and we want you to come and join us and bring your energy in, because it is the energy that comes in that creates the space.
100%.
And we all have something to give. Absolutely.
I
And
love that.
you, Alana?
Well, like I mentioned, I just opened up this space for fully expressed. It's a fully expressed environment where you get support, same thing. And it's for those spiritually driven women that are, or passionately spiritual women that are here to create business and give their gifts. It doesn't have to be business specifically because it's expanding you yourself, your business, and your capacity to receive, because I feel like that's thing that people that in this space are not so great at. But it's to discover when you have that feeling of war within you that you're like, there's something I'm doing. I may be doing it already, but there's something more. And it's expanding, discovering, and having the supports like you, very much like you have all of my resources in here, tools, whether it's business strategy, but it's not about strategy. It's because you can apply all the different strategies, but if you're not in the right identity, like you mentioned earlier, is that the strategies don't work if we're
Yeah.
not in alignment with it. So, or we're holding ourselves back, but it's literally about a space to be able to hold the line, to hold each other up to the version of ourselves we know we could be,
Yeah.
and have the accountability to have that, like you said, women that are side by side in the journey of doing that. So, yeah, super excited for that.
Oh, that's so cool. And now is that online?
Yeah, it's an online
Yeah.
space.
Okay. Just
We
wanted to
have
clarify that.
Yeah, no, thank you. And like I said, if anybody's interested, am hosting an event June 18th and 19th where you can experience a little more about what that looks like and feels like. And then go from there.
Yes. So fun.
Mm.
Okay. We are
Awesome.
rocking it. I love it. All right. Thank you, Alana. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to
Of course.
everyone that is here.
Thank you.
Please like and share. Get this out. This is just a free conversation and benefits so many people out there in the world. So, tell us what touched your heart. Subscribe, share, and remember that you are the light, you are the way, and the circle will be here when you need to return. And we will be back next week again.
Amazing.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.